Hey guys, it's Main here, back again with another account review, and again I'm doing this after I made that video saying goodbye to Idleon, because as I mentioned, there are people that donated to me that I wanted to make sure I did account reviews for. I don't want to feel like you guys wasted the 25 that you donated to me or more in some cases, and so I feel contractually obligated to do these account reviews, which I'm completely fine doing, by the way. Again, I feel like because I put out that video, there's no reason people need to quit Idleon. It's just my own personal perspective of the game is that it's not worth it for me to play. But in the meantime, while my knowledge is still in my brain, I feel like I can put that to good use to help some people kind of understand, in this person's case, kind of the early game, what to kind of orient themselves for, to make their journey a little bit smoother. So I want that to kind of be my last little good note before I leave Eidolon. I mean, drama aside, whatever. Like I said, I still think the game is good. There's just unfortunately, in my opinion, probably some more negative things about the game that are pretty much undeniable. If you've been around in the community long enough, you'll recognize that. So again, I don't mean my video to be a call out saying yes, you guys should uninstall, leave bad reviews or anything. If you think the game is fun, continue playing it. It's just, again, my personal experience with certain individuals have soured it, and for that, I think it's kind of a bad reason to stay. In addition to me obviously getting my promotion, making content creation a little bit harder to do. So without further ado, let's jump into the account review to help Vane Surf's account today. Based off the dashboard, obviously it's a really early game account, or at least compared to some people that I've seen before. In World 6, has gold statues, not yet Onyx, not yet Zenith, obviously since you're not in World 7. So there's a lot to kind of talk about there. So number one, I guess, is to go take a look at your characters, see kind of what drop rate they're rocking. I would hope that you understand or know that drop rate is best stacked on DK, especially if you're trying to do statue farming specifically. So I want to see kind of what your stats are in these characters. Drop rate 6.39, 7.15. Personal obol page maybe is a big thing. Any of your characters have obols? Actually, that would help me a ton. Get rid of stats. No personal obols. Family obols are a little bit hectic, so it's probably where I would start. To be honest, your account is very similar to where I started Onyx statue farming on my free-to-play account when I was doing that way back in the day. If you remember that, so it's like August or so. I started doing Onyx statue farming. This was after the speed run. I kept up with the account for a little bit. Obviously, when World 7 dropped, I really stopped, and obviously now I'm not going to go back to it. But roughly what I did at your stage of the game is I had Choco Chip, which I suspect you may or may not have. If you don't have it, look out for it in future rotation because it's kind of needed for crystal spawn farming. But what I started doing at this stage was trying to get pop obols. Pop obols drop from Giga Frogs in World 1. They have a 1 in 100,000 drop rate. I wouldn't recommend AFKing for them because you can't get more than one obol at a time if you AFK at a mob for it. So you should active ES farm for Gigafrog pop obols because they drop in that first page. They aren't in a crystal spawn bag, so DK farming is a bad idea for it because obviously if you kill crystal mobs, it's not going to drop the pop obol. It comes from the Gigafrog himself. So the ES portal will spawn the Gigafrogs. You have a chance of dropping the pop obol. So it's best done on ES, not crystal farming. In Gigafrogs, you can do it active, is my recommendation because, like I said, AFK, you can only get one obol at a time. And you can try to fill out your character's family page as well as a DK's personal tab full of these pop obols. So AZ Surf, for example, having the circular silver pop obols is the highest tier you want the pop obols to go. For those of you that don't remember the best, understand the best strat for obol grinding, the best method to do is take a take a pop obol that you drop from a Gigafrog, right, the bronze tier, and you want to put that into the reroll section on the obols. You put that in there, you want to roll it from the plus 1% drop rate it normally has up to plus 2%. The reason you do that is because if you go over to the right side of the obol menu, that combined section, put it into the leftmost thing, and then put another bronze pop obol to the right of it. So you have 2 pop obols in there. The one on the left in that combined section is the plus 2% that you just rolled. The one on the right is a standard 1%. You don't need to roll that one. And then you try and combine it. If it up tiers, instead of it having, I think, 2 or 3% drop rate, it'll have a +1 from that. So you can gain an additional drop rate. Do pop obol start with 2? Hold on. I can't remember. I love wiki pop obol. Again, the wiki is a great source, by the way. Let's see. Scroll down. Pop. Yeah. Oh, bronze obol has 3. Okay. Well, wait. Hold on. Really? Oh, okay. It has base 2. Can be rolled up to 3. And then if you roll up into silver, the highest it can go is 4%. So the reason you do the rolling of the stats when it's bronze is because it costs less obol fragments than if you rolled it at silver, because bronze, I think, takes 1 obol fragment, whereas if you roll it at silver, it takes 3. So it's 3 times the rolls for essentially the same percentage chance to get +1% drop rate. So you want to do it when it's bronze, save yourself obol fragments, up tier it into silver, and silver is where you want to stop for pop obols. The reason you stop there at silver is because if you up tier it into gold, it'll become a square. And when it becomes a square, it has less drop rate than another obol you can find, which comes from World 2 crystal mob farming. From Sandy Pots, I think, is the best spot. I've heard people say Tyson's and what's the other one? Tyson's and Sandcastles are also pretty good, but I would just do Sandy Pots. It's generally where people do DK crystal farming. The platforms for Sandy Pots are relatively close together. Some preliminary testing we had way back in the day from Brackets in our Discord, the guy's name is Brackets, showed that Sandy Pots was generally the better of the World 2 mobs to farm, but that was with like a 50-minute test, so there might be some variance there. Not exact science or anything, but Sandy Pots seemed to be the best, so I recommend it. And you want to do crystal farming on DK there, because crystal mobs will drop the obol that you're seeking, which is the dice obol. Dice obols naturally drop as a square obol as silver, so you can't really roll a bronze square dice obol or circle dice obol, whatever. You have to roll it as a silver, so it's going to cost 3 obol fragments to roll it, but same logic as pop obol. You want to put that into the reroll stats section of the obol window. Roll it from, I think it's 5 to 6%. I can't remember. Dice. All right, it's not on there. Obol. Drop obol. Silver obol of double sixes has a base of 5%, so you can roll it up to 6%. And then when you roll it from 6, you do the same logic, put a silver into the left side of the combine, put another 6% that you just rolled, put a regular dice obol into the right slot, up tier them into gold, so you have that base 7 rolls up to 8% drop rate. And then the square obols are also best in slot, or early game best in slot is hexagons, and then best in slot is sparkles. So you can continue down the chain of logic of up tiering those dice obols into the hexagon, which is after gold, and then after the hexagon becomes a sparkle obol. So that's kind of the drop rate theme you want to go for. If I look at my Idleon toolbox, which is, I believe, still active. Here we go. Again, this isn't public, but yeah, you see I have a bunch of silver pop obols here. My hexagons are replaced with Domio Magnus because this eventually becomes the best in slot, but otherwise these would be the blue dice obols that you see here, the hexagon obols, platinum obol, the Yahtzee 6s, and then you up tier into the sparkle obols, and there's no better replacement for it in the end game. The squares, instead of the gold instead of the gold dice obols, eventually the random event, the ice guards become better, and then if you have hyper obols, which are limited time shop, oddities, not oddities, but they come in rotation with limited time shops eventually. These are the best in slot because these roll up to 11% versus ice guard obols have 9%, 9, 11. So you can get a little bit extra drop rate there if you end up finding down the line some hyper obols, or get lucky with that, as I think you had a pyre obol, so you're kind of familiar with that concept. So my recommendation to start off on your account, get things to be a little bit better, is start the obol grind, because you'll start getting a lot of drop rate through your obols, especially as you flesh out a full family page and get a full drop rate page for at least your DK that you're crystal farming on. That's how you start off with the drop rate grind. That'll kind of be where you want to start your journey. The other thing I want to mention, obviously, is early game. The best way to scale drop rate, or to get started on scaling drop rate, you want to try to get the 9 darts trophy. Obviously, it takes a little bit of time. It's going to probably be a little bit difficult, in my opinion, especially if you suck at darts. But practice makes perfect, right? Everyone, I mean this, will probably be able to get the 9 dart trophy. It just takes a little bit of effort. So just put in that effort. Try it like 2, 3, 4 times a day, and try to get it. And if you don't get it, come back tomorrow, right? Idleon's a very slow game. It's meant to be very slow. It's idle, right? So take that to your advantage. Take some time. Try to get the trophy done. And if you don't get it one day, maybe get the next day or the day after, right? That's kind of how it ended up for me. It took me 2, 3 weeks to get that trophy, and that was due to constant effort and me playing the darts game. And the reason, I guess, let me expand upon the axiom of the more practice makes perfect, right? The reason that is good is because the more you practice, you want to try to get into a mindset of how do I better myself in this aspect. In the case of the darts, try to understand the mechanics of the darts. Like, how is it curving? How does the wind affect it, right? And try to make your shots better. Even if you don't immediately think you're doing it, your muscle memory will start kicking in, understanding that the way the darts start moving. So even if you don't recognize yourself changing, you will get better at the darts game. Because a lot of it will come into muscle memory. Like, you're training yourself to be better. You want to be in that mindset when it comes to the darts trophy. There's really no other way to do it. You just have to try. And if you don't try, you're never going to get it, which is 9% AFK gain multi, which is huge for pushing World 6 alone, and the drop rate multi, which is going to help you get Onyx statues, eventually down the line, Zenith statues, right? So practice makes perfect. It's one of the best trophies in the game that you can get free to play. So you may as well put in just a little bit of effort every single day in trying to get it. And on top of that, to help you push World 6 and get into World 7, the points you get from the Dart Trophy in spending in the Boas map, right, that shop, will make it so you can upgrade vaults to be a little bit better. So if you're missing on damage or the stamp upgrades or whatever from vault, you can max those out. You can also get a little bit of total damage, I think, is from the Darts Trophy shop. Or sorry, darts drop, and I think like coins or something like that. So doing the mini game, even if you fail at getting the trophy, is going to help you a little bit in pushing World 6. Being a little bit better in that regard. I guess that's a good transition to talking about how to push World 6, because I think that's where you're kind of suffering right now. So you have an arcane cultist, so you have a massive advantage in the fact that you can finish summoning, base summoning, not talking about endless summoning, obviously, because it's endless, but you can kind of finish base summoning. How do you use Arcane Cultist? So my recommendation is have him on your second preset. And the reason I say that is because you have upgrades into Essential Essence, Passion of the Summon. Like I said, Absolute Stardom may or may not benefit you depending on if you did the event. But yeah, these 3 upgrades are very key for Arcane Cultist, because they really help you push summoning to the next level and being able to finish the base of summoning, which you haven't yet done. So my real recommendation is try and finish base summoning. I know it's probably a little bit hard right now because you don't have a lot of damage or HP, but remember, the cost reduction that you get from Arcane Cultist is absolutely nuts. You'll be able to generate a lot of essence, spend a lot of that essence into buying these upgrades. And early game, honestly, mix and match the stats. Do some damage. Spike placement is really good early on. This like flat damage here is really good. If you can push yellow summoning and get into sharpened spikes, it's even better. Early on, you'll get like 1 or 2 extra spike damage, which kind of gets dwarfed by the spike placement upgrade, the green one. But as you start scaling damage and getting into blue summoning, as you get into purple summoning especially, your damage starts to really ramp up and skyrocket. And the most important thing, kind of the break point for summoning, is once you upgrade your upgrades, right, and start getting a lot of damage, your big kind of blocking point for summoning is mana generation. That's where purples comes in, because you start getting final card. This is how you get a lot of mana generation in summoning. And if you're kind of holding back on summoning because you think that you might soft lock yourself with the Sussy Jean quest line or whatever, don't worry about it, because you can still complete the quest line in endless summoning. So unless it's been, you know, messed up in a recent update, I don't know. But that was the case with my free-to-play account. I got all of the stamps in endless summoning and the Gambit Cavern, so you can complete the quest line. Completing base summoning is not going to lock you out of the stamps. And even if it does, you always have teal summoning to go back on, which unlocks in World 7 anyways. So the most important thing is try to finish base summoning, because, and when I say base summoning, I mean the white, green, yellow, blue, purple, I guess cyan, or whatever. This was cyan, red. Like, that's what I mean by base summoning, because you can unlock that without having to do like World 7 or, you know, get into endless summoning. But the reason you want to finish summoning is because, well, number one, it has a lot of you know, damage, right? More damage means you have more pushing power, which means you can push the world a little bit faster. So you get more multi-kill, kill more mobs in the map, you know, so your fighting AFK gains a little bit more effective, because obviously as you finish green summoning, you're going to get that 1.67 damage. As you finish blue summoning, you're going to get that 2.05 times total AFK gain. But on top of that, you're also going to, you know, eventually end up getting drop rate. You're going to end up getting AFK gains. I think there's more drop rate here, more AFK gains, right? More damage. And the other thing it helps you with is getting artifact find chance, which is also insane for helping you push, because the more artifact find chance you get, the more artifacts you find, the better your account bonuses are, and specifically damage, right? Stats, which will help you with kill per kill, trial by rock eventually if you get there's multi-kill per damage tier, and once you unlock the lanterns, that's summoner win bonus. The Shimmer Island will help, you know, get you more like skill efficiency. Onyx statues eventually, as you unlock them, will impart you, you know, more base damage, more skill efficiency, more total damage with Battle Axe statue, right? Crystal Stake is huge for character damage, because this is one of the ways you can scale damage based off your main stat. The other way, obviously, is Bubbles, which you haven't gotten to yet in World 6, which is a little bit painful. So I suspect that's more of a talent issue, if anything. Okay, so you have 210 Tycho, which is really, really good. So we'll talk about Alchemy in just a second. I want to go back to summoning real quick, just to kind of wrap that up. So yeah, artifact find chance is going to become very important for you very, very soon, because once you do a little bit of crystal farming under DK, have that chocolate chip, the crystal spawn, to help you push, you know, Onyx statues. Eventually, the one thing you want to do once you have like Onyx statues unlocked, you have like power statue done, mining power, move speed, just because it's nice quality of life, feasty statue, right? The base like World 1 statues Onyx. The big thing I want you to immediately do, and some people might disagree with me on this, is I would immediately go to World 5, go fight Citringes under DK and crystal farm that. The reason you want to do that is because the crystal farm with DK in World 7, in World 5, will drop you golden hamster gummies. Golden hamster gummies are very, very important for your account progress, even if you temporarily hinder yourself, because what golden hamster gummies do is they give you a chance to claim AFK gains, and that counts towards sailing time. So say, for example, your minimum sailing time in one island is 2 hours. So it takes you 2 hours to go from the start position to that island and back to get a chest. So what you want to do is try and claim 2 hours on your character. And if you have 10k on the beanstalk, that applies universally across your characters. So you have a percent chance to claim 2%, 2 hours on the character could go towards sailing time. That is immensely powerful, because that saves you, you know, up to 20 hours if you claim all 10 characters, or I guess 18 if you're active on one character all the time. You know, that's 18 hours of sailing done in 2 hours, right? That's really, really strong. That means you could potentially get Eldritch Moai Head, Maneki Cat, Arubal Cubal, Phosphary Tusk, right? Or some of the later ones like Fury Relic, Clouder, and Weatherbook, right? So it'll save you a lot of time in summoning. The downside, obviously, is you have to spend time and be a little bit active in it and claiming every 2 hours or so. So you can, you know, obviously click the chest, try to get the ancient artifact or regular artifact or whatever tier of artifact. So, but this will really help scale and like really skyrocket your progress in your account. Sailing is no joke when it comes to player power. Because there's a lot of sources of damage available through sailing. Obviously, Ruble Cuble's is the earliest one you get introduced to, but eventually, as you unlock the Crystal Island, Crystal Stake is explosive in terms of character power and how much damage it provides you. Because this 2% total damage, this will be your first introduction, or I guess as we talk about Alchemy, probably your second source of total damage based off your main stat. And as you upgrade your character's gear, as you upgrade your stats here in the first talent page, you'll start accumulating some stats, right? And if you unlock the Cattle Crook God, if you link that to your characters, you'll start leveling up these stat bubbles as well, which means that your damage is going to start scaling a little bit and get a little bit higher and getting more kill per kill and getting more damage, getting more multi-kill per tier, right? So it's very, very good. Almost there for Alchemy, because this is the other big thing. So yeah, golden hamster gummies are insane. Your big goal with World 5 gold food farming is trying to get 10k, so you can drop down the beanstalks. You don't have to put them on your character. You'll have a fairly high chance, okay chance to get golden hamster, that sailing AFK time when you claim on your character. So really, really good. So that's kind of what you want to do after you do your pop obol grinding, doing some dice obol grinding, have a full character page, of personal page rather, a family page of drop rate, and as you progress, getting those obols obviously will take time. In that time, you can try to do summoning, try to progress it, get more artifact find chance, get more damage, get more drop rate, more AFK gains to help you out on that journey in getting more pop obols, getting more drop rate, and then eventually transitioning into full-time crystal farming under DK, getting at least World 1 statues at Onyx, and then immediately going over to World 5, doing that golden hamster grind, dropping the 10k on the beanstalk, and then slowly accumulating that fast sailing progress. When you have the 10k hamster gummies, my recommendation is, like I said, try to go to islands that you have a 2-hour travel time to. That way you can stick most of your boats on that island and try to farm one of two things: treasure, so loot, or loot value, or trying to unlock new artifacts. So you have up to Fury Relic, which is like the big breakpoint for Arcane Cultists, because you can essentially do 70% cranium cooking, right? You have 200 tentacle, which is the big thing, and that's very huge for cranium cooking and progressing alchemy, which we're going to talk about. You need to do. So you don't have to push islands right now. You have base Fury Relic, which is good enough. You should try to go back to earlier islands, and what you should try to do is try to get more golden bars and more treasure to upgrade your boats, because you want to try to hit that 2-hour cap on every single one of your islands eventually. So early on, go back to an earlier island, say the first island, for example, use the loot that you have from that island and try to upgrade your boats. So upgrading speed on your first boat, on your second boat, on your third boat, transitioning to the second island and using that treasure to try to upgrade the speed value here, speed value here, speed value here, right? The speed value here is fairly decent across your boats, so you may not need to do this as much. I also don't know if you have the gem shop purchases. It'll help you get more sailing speed, I think it is. The other way you can scale that is AD Tablet. AD Tablet obviously gives you more sailing speed. There's blessing bonuses from your divinity gods. Some of them give you sailing speed. Permeep, if you link to it like you have here, will give you sailing speed as the minor link bonus, as well as plant gaming growth speed. Unrelated to this, but nice bonus. As you unlock the last god, the blessing bonus gives you sailing speed. Goat god, this costs bits, will give you sailing speed, and probably a few other sources. But as you level up divinity, as you upgrade the blessing bonus, you're going to get more sailing speed out of this. Additionally, since you have AD Tablet, the way this scales is based off of slab progress, based off of how many items you find. Every 10 items you find after 500. So if you haven't committed to doing a little bit of slab grinding, I would probably consider it. I see some things here that you can probably do fairly quickly. Namely, you have some craftable items. Not necessarily talking about like gargantuan pouch or colossal or volumetric, but talking about cramped mining pouch, small mining pouch, average mining pouch. Like, you can craft some of these and just get them done. You can try and do some windwalker farming. You try to get a Tempest Bow of Ice, Tempest Ring of Ice, Tempest Ring of Lava, right? Like, those are Tempest Boat items. So you can just go in windwalker form and try to get those. There's also some items that you're mostly just craftable party dungeon, quest line items, getting lucky, um, stuff like that, right? Or just like drops you haven't yet found. Eventually progressing to World 7, some early on anvil items or birthday cards, stuff that you haven't found, quest line items. I would probably, sit down, take a look at your slab and see what early game is available to you. Some of the World 1, World 2 anvil items, for example, is what I try to do. Some of the quest line stuff, try to go back to earlier worlds, because quests are very important because of one of the star talents that you have on your characters, which is called Quest Kapow. This unlocks with Vault. You can upgrade the levels, the total levels of the Vault. But as you do more unique quests, you don't have to complete all the quests on one character. You can complete them across your account. But using this tool right here, go to MISC, go to account, go to MISC, go to quests, select this so you have all the characters selected. You can kind of see where you might be missing some stuff. So you haven't yet completed Champion of the Grasslands. Can someone else do it? It was Glumly, you haven't yet finished. He's having a bad day. Impossible task. So you have 2 quests you can complete here. 2 more quests you can complete here. It's kind of the end of World 1 though. You have 3 quests you can do here with Crunk. You have 1 quest, the 7-figure followers quest, which is a really good one. You have exotic pranks to complete. You have Hamish is done. You have Picnic Stowaway, trying to at least go down here, trying to get King of Food trophies, really, really good, especially as you progress into World 7 and unlock Godfrey. Getting into The Witcher, but not really, right? All these quests are really, really good because of the very star talents you have. That'll scale quest in some way. So you get Quest Kapow, give you more % damage. And this is a fairly significant damage bonus early on. There's Studious Quester, giving you skill efficiency. There's Quest Chungus, which is good for beginners to help you get more luck. Very, very important. Cool. Okay, I'll move away from the quest line stuff, from sailing, from what you should do with your DK. I guess the one thing I didn't talk about specifically when it comes to crystal farming with DK, because I kind of often forget about it, is crystal spawn chance. So real quick, I want to go over that before I transition over to Alchemy. Let's take a look at this. You have this talent maxed out, which is good. Crystal for Days is a great first place to go. The other thing is Post Office. Post Office is really, really good. You have the drop box. Good. This gives you drop rarity, drop chance, obviously, and crystal spawn chance. Really, really good. I'd recommend trying to get Magician Starter Pack for that faster cooldown, so you have better uptime on your Nightly Disciple statue, which is the little shockwave guy. DK talent, this thing right here. Better uptime on it. Really, really good. I think a few others are probably good, but that's the main one. Main few that I wanted to talk about was that the Magician Starter Pack being the most important ones, because that's crystal spawn chance. Other thing is cards. Obviously, I don't know if you have. So you have Demon Genie 1. Okay. So Demon Genie, obviously try to get more cards out of this. So active ES farm at Demon Genies, using candy there if you want. Trying to get higher tier of the poop card, trying to get this over to 4-star, just to help you with the crystal spawn chance a little bit better there. If you have card doublers, which I don't think you have, that would be very nice to move the Demon Genie into this slot and the poop card into the bottom right or the top left. Either one, they're kind of interchangeable, doesn't matter. And then trying to focus a set specifically for drop rate. Like you have some damage here, you have some damage here, and some drop rate. Trying to just do drop rate, don't have to mix in damage, right? Multi-kill doesn't matter for crystal spawn farming. All the multi-kill does is gives you increased base drop for the base mob that you're farming. So if you're farming Giga Frog as like Bullfrog Horns, for example, or something, that's not going to affect the crystal mob. Multi-kill doesn't affect crystal mobs, so you don't need to worry about multi-kill on your DK for crystal farming. Prayers, if you have Midas Mind, that gives you a bunch of flat drop rate, which is really nice, especially if you have drop rate multi. What else? Crystal spawn chance, right? That's the main thing I'm talking about here. Somewhere here. Yeah. This gives you a good little breakdown. Additive sources here. Coming out crystals. This is a beginner talent you don't have access to. Crescent Shrine, getting higher levels of this gives you more crystal spawn chance. Crystalline Stamp, obviously we haven't talked about yet, but it's a good source of crystal spawn chance. Especially if you haven't yet exalted this is a great one to exalt immediately. Crystal for Days, I think this is a star talent, right? Post Office box, yep. poop card we talked about. Try to get a higher tier of that. Demon Genie, I'd probably get this up to 3-star at the base if you want to start crystal farming. Try to get up to 4-star, be a little bit better. And then there's something here. Crystal and Stamp. Oh yeah, go over to Stamps real quick and talk about that. Have it exalted, perfect. I would probably craft a higher material bag on your beginner, so your V-Man. And if you have the rucksack pair, equip it. If you don't have it unlocked yet, try to orient yourself towards worship to try to get that stamp unlocked, so you can get higher carry capacity to upgrade your stamps a little bit better. But trying to get the boring bricks for this to level up the stamp another few levels so you can get that extra crystal spawn chance is really, really good. Obviously on Windwalker, trying to upgrade the exalted multi, which comes from, I think, the Quenchi Abomination. That upgrade specifically will give you additional exalted stamp bonus, which is really, really good. Okay, now I'm going to finally talk about Alchemy. I do want to gloss over your stamps real quick. You have a few ones from earlier worlds you haven't yet unlocked, so consider going back and unlocking Alco Burr, Brain Boost stamps, Drop Lots, Agile stamp, and Arcane stamp, right? Those are fairly good. Okay, now actually moving over to Alchemy. This is probably going to be the last thing I talk about your account because I'm droning on for 30 minutes now about drop rate and crystal spawn chance for early game players. But I do want to touch upon Alchemy because this is a fairly significant thing for you to do. So what I would be doing right now is I wouldn't be touching sigils. I wouldn't be touching like liquid cauldron farming or anything like that. I'd be sticking your characters into each of the colored cauldrons, all of them, and trying to unlock bubbles. Because you have 200 Tentacle, now is the time where you don't need to worry about AFK resources for your Arcane Cultists. Just straight up go to Tremor Worms in World 5. If you haven't unlocked the map, try to unlock it, because that is the best place for you to be crystal farming right now. Your bar setup should be Cranium Cooking, Raise Dead, Skull. That's it. That's all you need. You can consider putting Ghost on there as well. Ghost is pretty good, probably having the 4. Honestly, yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, do those 4. Cranium Cooking, Raise Dead, Skull, the Fart Ghost, right? Make sure you have at least 1 point into both the Chemical Warfare, the like canister thing, as well as the Ghost, but the only thing you need on your hotbar are those 4 talents. The Cranium Cooking, Raise Dead, the Skull, and the Flatulent Ghost. Additionally, when you are fighting mobs outside of AC form, the Arcane Crystal does still work as an extra mob. It doesn't stack up the AFK bonus that it provides, but you can use it as additional mobs, which counts towards Cranium Cooking progress. So you can drop down the crystal, get a few extra mobs just to help you progress Cranium Cooking a little bit faster. And you just kind of want to set your character AFK actively to farm that out, to help you get alchemy progress, because now that you have 200 Tentacle, you can Cranium Cook fairly often. I think you have probably up to like 40 minutes of downtime or so. So if you spend most of your day with your computer on, if you're playing PC, or with your phone on, like I wouldn't really play mobile, but I guess you could do that. You can finish most of the worlds, unlock all the World 6 bubbles at the very least. Start unlocking some of the World 7 ones to help you with your account progress. But the most important thing I want to highlight is that you don't have Power of Try 1, Try 2, or Try 3. These are like Crystal Stake, just a little bit worse or better in some cases, because these gives you % total damage per stat. So for the Orange Cauldron, that's Strength. This also affects your V-Man, so this will help you with V-Man damage, but scales off of luck instead of strength. Your Green Cauldron gives you % total damage per 250 agility, and then Power of Try 3 gives you % total damage per 250 wisdom. This is like Crystal Stake. It adds another way to scale damage based off your stat. So this is really, really good. Even getting this to level 1 should be a fairly significant damage boost for your character. So just unlocking these is going to be very, very significant for you. So I highly recommend trying to do that. And I would continue doing Cranium Cooking until you unlock all of the World 6 bubbles, down to Crop Chapter, Stealth Chapter, Essence Chapter, and Low Cosmo Jade. So as you get to, doing Cranium Cooking, the best thing to focus on is trying to upgrade your speed, upgrade your luck, upgrade your cost, and your extra. There's 2 sections of the Color Cauldrons. One's just unlocking bubbles. The other is your boost section. go to the boost, you'll see these options here. Try to max them out at 170 first before you continue upgrading bubbles, just because you can start, making things a little bit faster, making things easier to unlock, and making it so the cost of those bubbles is a little bit lower, which is kind of a nice thing. Honestly, I wouldn't really worry about cost too much this early on in the game. But yeah, I definitely get to doing some cranium cooking on your AC as soon as possible, and especially going back to your stamps and unlocking alchemy speed. This will help in that endeavor because you'll get more liquid progress out of your colored colorants for that. And obviously, alchemy EXP is fairly decent. It's nice to get to help you in that endeavor. So yeah, do some cranium cooking on tremor worms. If you can't kill tremor worms, you're dying to them for whatever reason, go over to citringens. It's also a good place to cranium cook. But tremor worms is ideal just because it's such a compact map and is very dense with mobs. That cranium cooking is the best there until you get to the very last map of World 7, which is Coral Cave Guardians. Yeah, it just outcompetes tremor worms, actually. At least it did when I was playing. So yeah, I'll go ahead and stop there. Like I said, I don't want to give you too much to paralyze you, like I tend to do for people. Hopefully you learned a little bit of something. Hopefully that helps you guys in the early game accounts. Again, a few more videos to come out, a few more account reviews. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.